Have you ever had this happen? Late at night. The house is quiet. No one is talking. Nothing seems to be moving. And then suddenly, your cat lifts its head. It stares into one corner of the room. Its ears go up. Its eyes lock in. Its body freezes, like it has spotted something you cannot see at all. So you look too. Nothing. A few seconds later, your cat turns its head again. Now it seems to be listening to something. Something your room doesn't appear to be making. Then it moves. Maybe it walks away. Maybe it bolts under the table. Maybe it jumps up to the window like something important just appeared. And in that moment, almost everyone thinks the same thing. What exactly is my cat noticing? That is one of the reasons cats always seem so mysterious. Not just because they are quiet. Not just because they are hard to read. But because so many times, they react to things that humans do not detect at all. But here is the part most people miss. In many of those moments, your cat is not reacting randomly. Your cat is not imagining things. And it does not automatically mean something strange or supernatural is happening in your home. The more likely explanation is much simpler. Your cat is picking up signals that human senses are missing almost completely. And once you understand that, a lot of your cat's weirdest behavior starts to make perfect sense. In this video, we are going through 6 things cats can sense far better than most people realize. Some of them come from light. Some come from sound. Some come from movements so small your brain barely registers them. And the last one may be the most surprising of all. Because it is not just about your home. It is about you. Cats are one of the few animals that live right beside humans while still keeping the instincts of an extremely sensitive predator. They sleep in your house. They eat in your house. They move through the same rooms you do. But the world your cat experiences is not the same world you experience. Same room. Same moment. Same air. But what your cat hears, sees, and feels may be very different from what you do. And the first difference starts with something you think is familiar. Light. 1. Your cat sees this room differently than you do.
What are you looking at, kitty?
You might be sitting in your living room right now, looking around, and everything seems completely normal.
Just a shadow.
A white wall. A curtain. A table. A corner that is still. Nothing unusual. But to your cat, that same room may not feel empty at all. Human eyes are built to focus on detail, color, and sharp shapes in daylight. A cat's eyes work differently. Cats do not need the world to look crisp in the same way humans do. What they need is the ability to notice subtle changes in the environment as quickly as possible. That is why cats are especially sensitive to low light and small movements. A faint shift in light across the floor. A shadow moving just slightly. Sunlight reflecting off glass for half a second. A tiny object changing position in the distance. You may ignore all of it. Your cat does not. To you, that is background. To your cat, that is information. That helps explain why cats sometimes sit and stare at a spot that looks completely empty to you. It does not always mean they are zoning out or acting strange. A lot of the time, they are reacting to visual details your brain filters out almost instantly. There is also evidence that cats process light differently from humans in some ways, which means surfaces and objects may not appear exactly the same to them as they do to you. That is why your cat can sit by a window for a long time, completely focused, while you look outside and see nothing but an ordinary yard. The thing that catches a cat's attention does not have to be large. In fact, sometimes the smallest change is the most important thing in the room. And that is only vision. When it comes to hearing, the gap between your world and your cat's world becomes even bigger. 2. Your cat lives inside a layer of sound you cannot hear. Think about all the times your cat suddenly turns its ears towards something in a room that seems completely silent. No one called its name. Nothing obvious made a sound. There was no noise loud enough for you to notice. But your cat reacted immediately. It looked in one direction. It became alert. Sometimes it even walked straight toward the source like it heard something clear. That is because your home may never actually be silent to your cat. Cats are highly sensitive to soft sounds and high-frequency sounds. Noises that humans barely notice, or do not hear at all, can still stand out clearly to them. A faint electronic hum from something plugged in. A tiny vibration behind a wall. The sound of an insect moving. A light noise from outside your door. A short sound so subtle you never register it. All of that can become part of the sound map your cat is constantly reading. You and your cat may live in the same house. But you are not hearing the same version of that house. That is one reason cats often react before you realize someone is approaching the door. Before you notice movement outside. Before you realize there is a small bug somewhere in the kitchen. Your cat is not predicting anything in a magical way. It is simply detecting the signal sooner. So if you have ever wondered why your cat becomes alert when everything seems perfectly quiet, the answer may be very simple. To your cat, it was never quiet in the first place. And when an animal can hear tiny differences in its environment so well, it also becomes more sensitive to something else. Change. 3. Your cat may feel environmental changes before you do. A lot of cat owners have experienced the same strange pattern. Their cat suddenly changes behavior. Not slowly. Very quickly. It was lying still, and now it is standing. It was relaxed, and now it is restless. It starts pacing. It hides under furniture. Or it just seems uneasy for no obvious reason. Then a little later, the weather changes. It starts raining. The wind picks up. The air feels heavier. The whole atmosphere seems different. After seeing that enough times, many people start to feel like their cat somehow knew it was coming. That may sound dramatic, but there is a more grounded explanation. Cats can be very sensitive to subtle physical changes in the environment. Humans usually notice a change only when it becomes obvious. When the storm is already close. When the air pressure shift becomes strong enough to feel.
Did you feel that?
When the wind is already moving things outside. Cats may react earlier to the smaller signals that come first. Tiny changes in air pressure. Subtle vibrations in the environment. Distant sounds that begin to shift. A different physical feel in the space around them. You may not notice any of it. But your cat may already sense that something is changing. That does not make cats fortune tellers. It simply means their bodies are built to respond quickly when their environment stops feeling stable. For an animal shaped by survival, that is a huge advantage. So the next time your cat suddenly seems unsettled before the weather turns, it may not be random at all.
Yeah.
It may just be responding to information your body has not picked up yet. And that same sensitivity shows up in a situation many cat owners know very well. When you come home. 4. Your cat often knows you are coming home before you open the door. This is one of the sweetest things cats do, and one of the most surprising. You arrive at your door. You have not gone inside yet. You have not called out. But when the door opens, your cat is already there. Sometimes sitting close by. Sometimes waiting. Sometimes running toward the entrance right on time. If it happened once, maybe it would be coincidence. But when it happens over and over, clearly your cat is using something. It does not have to be a psychic bond.
Did you miss me?
The real explanation is usually much simpler, and more impressive. Your cat learns you. Not just your face.
Hey there.
Not just your scent. but the entire chain of signals that usually happens before you appear. The sound of your car. Your footsteps. Your gate. Your keys. The elevator outside. Even the rhythm of how you move. People often underestimate how good cats are at learning patterns. But cats are excellent at linking repeated signals together. After enough time living with you, your cat does not just know who you are. It starts building a full profile of your sounds and routines. That is why your cat does not react the same way to every sound outside the door. A delivery person does not sound like you. A neighbor does not sound like you. A random car outside does not match your pattern. But when the familiar sequence shows up in the right order, your cat may know almost immediately that you are about to walk in. That also explains why some cats seem uncannily on schedule. They are not reading a clock. They are reading your routine. And when an animal is that sensitive to sound and that good at learning patterns, it is not hard to understand how it knows you are home before you even turn the handle. But if there is one thing that makes cats look truly mysterious, it may not be sound or routine at all. It is those moments when they track something your eyes cannot see. 5. Your cat notices movements so small your brain does not even count them as important. This is the moment that gives a lot of people chills. Especially at night. Your cat is resting. Then suddenly it sits upright. Its eyes lock onto empty air. Its head moves slowly, like it is following something drifting through the room. You look too. Nothing. But your cat keeps tracking it. Completely focused. As if there is something obvious moving right in front of it. And that is exactly when human imagination starts taking over. But in most cases, your cat is not staring at nothing. It is staring at something real. Something just too small, too subtle, or too brief for you to care about. A dust particle floating through light. A tiny insect. A strand of fur moving across the floor. A shadow changing as a curtain shifts. A flicker at the edge of the room. The human brain filters out tiny changes like that all the time because they do not seem important enough to react to.
What is it, buddy?
Cats are different. As small predators, their vision is tuned to detect motion. What matters most to a cat is not how big something is. It is whether it moved. Even a tiny shift can become the most important thing in the room. That is why when you see your cat staring into space, it may not be staring into space at all. It may be following a visual signal your eyes dismissed instantly. In that sense, your cat is like a tiny motion detector living in your house. And as impressive as that is, the last thing on this list may be the one people connect with most. Because it is not only about what your cat senses around the room. It is about what your cat senses from you. 6. Your cat may notice changes in your state before you do. This is the part many cat owners have felt, even if they never knew how to explain it. There are days when you are just not fully okay. You are tired, stressed, frustrated,
I don't know what to do anymore.
Emotionally low, or simply off in a way you cannot easily describe. You come home. You do not announce it. You do not say anything unusual.
How was yours?
But somehow, your cat seems to know.
Are you?
Some cats come closer. Some stay beside you longer than usual. Some watch you more carefully. Some quietly settle near you without asking for attention. Other cats respond differently. They keep some distance. They observe from across the room. They follow you, but more cautiously. Every cat has its own personality. But many cats do seem to shift their behavior when your condition changes. That does not have to mean anything mystical. When your emotional state or physical state changes, many small signals change too. Your voice sounds different. Your footsteps sound different. The way you open the door changes. Your movement changes. Your routine changes. Even your scent and energy level may be different. Humans often miss these details in themselves. But your cat lives with your normal patterns every day. So when you drift away from your usual rhythm, your cat may notice much faster than you expect. Your cat may not understand stress or sadness the way humans define those words. But it may absolutely detect that today, you do not feel like your usual self. And maybe that is one reason the bond between cats and humans feels so special. Not because cats always show affection in obvious ways. Not because they are easy to read. But because sometimes, in their own quiet way, they notice more than we think. When you put all of this together, the truth is not that cats are impossible to understand. It is almost the opposite. The more you learn about how cats sense the world, the more their strangest behavior starts to make sense. They see differently. They hear differently. They respond to movement differently. They notice environmental shifts faster. And they pay closer attention to your state than many people realize. Cats are not living in a supernatural world. They are living in a version of this world that contains more signals, more layers, and more subtle information than humans usually detect. So the next time your cat stares into one corner of the room, or suddenly lifts its ears in a house that seems silent, or waits by the door right before you get home, or changes behavior the moment your mood shifts, maybe that is not strange at all. Maybe your cat just noticed something you did not. If you live with a cat, try thinking back to one moment when your cat did something that seemed weird at first, but later turned out to make complete sense. Share that story in the comments. And if you enjoy videos that explain pet behavior in a way that feels fascinating without overcomplicating it, subscribe for more.